أتمنى بالله كبير أن يمدنا بما نستطيع أن نكون عند حسن ظن الإنسانية وحسن ظن أمتنا وشعبنا.
Now we go to the dressing room. This is going to be my last documentary. I'm making it about His Excellency the President Saddam Hussein. Now if we go back to the diary, you can see some of the childhood of his president. Now when he was very young, that's his mother. He went to the school by forcing his family because they want him to be a farmer. So he insists to go to the school, as he insists in everything when he wants to reach.
He became an adult too soon. At 17, he killed his cousin.
They shot Qasim. So he was wanted by law. When he came back, he became a lawyer. But he was interested in so many things more important.
You cannot compare Saddam to John Kennedy, but Saddam had the dynamism and the charisma which made people working for him looking forward to the future.
He came to life with a strength of imagination. And he's a very good Iraqi and Arab. Bush said, yeah, he's a great dictator. I mean, it wasn't polite from Bush to say to a president. He is very great being a president and coming to control Iraq. This is one of the miracles.
No, we will have no regret as you leave. I can say love was here, but for only a day. No regrets. No, we will have no regrets.
Sayyidi,
My master, the holy leader.
a lot of correspondence concentrate on His Excellency's life and some part of his private life. I found that he's a simple person.
نعم. أهلا وسهلا.
The first thing that Saddam Hussein does every morning when he wakes up at 5 a.m. is to have some coffee. Then he takes care of his personal hygiene. This is especially important because Saddam prefers to be greeted with a kiss near the armpit.
بس مو صحيح يطلع مثلا على الناس، يجي على مجلس من الناس او على اولاده يشتموا ويمشي وراء الفتاله قايمه مال الريحه الحرق المخلوطه وريحه الغدد اللي تفرز من جسمه. يفضل يسبح مرتين على الاقل مره واحده على الاقل، وبشتان. والمرة من يسبح الزلمة من يسبح نوبة واحدة، المرة لازم تسبح نوبتين، لأنه المرة تبين بيها الطعجة أكثر من الزلمة.
If you want to meet with Saddam Hussein, there are many protocols. They pat you down and check your body. You have to clean, to wash, because Saddam is scared to be contaminated by people.
Germs terrify the great leader. The smallest cut is dealt with immediately, and every week doctors determine the perfect temperature for Saddam's office, appropriate to his current condition.
There are several rules issued by doctors. When you meet with him, they tell you how to shake his hand, how many centimeters there must be between you and him.
وحتى الابن إذا ما يتذكر أبوه ريحته طيبة تأخذ من حنانه تجاه أبوه شيء.
He asked people to wash up. I really speak about people who met with Saddam Hussein, who had to wait something like 24 hours before being received.
ولازم كذا، وإذا ما عندك قدرة غسيل أسنانك بمعجون أسنان وفرشة أسنان إذا مو موجودة بإيدك غسليها. وفي كل الأحوال مثل ما قلنا أكو إمكانية هاي زولية بوصلة ونفق أبيض.
We respect his folklorish spirit.
Saddam takes great pains to project the proper image. He has a huge collection of hats for every occasion, even bulletproof hats for those pesky assassination attempts. He also loves his ties, and even though they are extra wide, they don't offer much protection from bullets. He's fastidious about his nails, and he regularly dyes his mustache a rich and regal black.
He has his own vision toward life.
Iraq's biggest star must guard his physical charms vigorously. Looking young, therefore, is one of his greatest concerns.
ولا احنا العمر عندنا مجمد فوق الشقد فوق ال40 المهم الروح.
Saddam was to show the world a glamorous face, and what better way to do that than to endlessly reproduce his carefully cultivated image. Iraqis joke privately that there are 20 million Iraqis and 20 million portraits of Saddam, so no one goes without. As if this isn't enough, every day the cover of Iraq's biggest newspaper features a photo of His Excellency in a dashing new pose.
You would look at the newspaper of yesterday and the newspaper of today, you wouldn't know the difference, because it has always to have a big portrait of Saddam Hussein on the front page.
To enhance his appealing image, Saddam likes to be surrounded by flowers. His numerous appearances on television are followed by a montage of colorful bouquets.
He was able always to control his private life, private interest.
In order to stay fit, the private Saddam enjoys dancing to traditional Arabic music. His only true vice is the cigars sent to him personally by his good friend, Fidel Castro. The president also loves to eat, but never in public as it's too dangerous. Everything that goes into his mouth must first be sampled by his official food taster.
Welcome to Andiana Cafe, which Saddam Hussein used to eat here. My father said he liked to eat meat every day. He make half a kilo, very big quantity for one man.
His passion for meat has led him down the diet path many times, and when the president diets, everyone diets. Saddam's weight is a matter of national concern. He has made speeches about his eating habits and even published articles about them.
He's a man who goes to the details of anything in order to help people.
One small detail, in a 1996 requisition form from the Iraqi government, didn't escape the UN's attention, a request for a liposuction machine. It was considered to contravene the international embargo and denied.
Embargo tried to destroy dreams.
Saddam loves to eat fish, especially ones he caught himself. Fishing with grenades seems to do the trick. Later, when it's safe, a couple of buddies in scuba gear will retrieve the catch.
I told you he behaved as a normal person.
During his rare free time, Saddam enjoys relaxing near the Tigris River, playing games in the water and swimming. It's no secret why Saddam is Iraq's biggest heartthrob. In the 70s, he was often seen picnicking with his family and gadding about on their boat. At present, he owns 2 large yachts.
I see the view when you press me to your heart.
This is Saddam's onboard office in one. It is done up in a Louis XVI style with a large leather sofa as a modern touch.
The government always asked for architect and gave them invitation for the project. After the president himself gave his remarks for the models and the drawings, we will arrange the details and then we'll start contracting and so on.
I see the view.
This house is built after the sanction. The owner of the house is a businessman. They pay a lot for the material, but I think the palaces is more rich. And we will go, let's say, to other palaces and see more details than that one. Here we have the sketches for competition.
And soon, the sketches took on life. This palace is built along the lines of a classic cathedral, with towering ceilings, crystal chandeliers, and giant columns fashioned from expensive Italian marble. What palace is complete without a throne? Saddam's is made of rare wood and covered with gold leaf. Upstairs, endless corridors of marble mosaic, blanketed in royal purple carpet, lead to the bedrooms and offices. The thing that sets Saddam's palaces apart from all others would have to be the bunkers. Normal life can take place above or below ground, and, just in case the bunkers themselves are threatened, there are extensive tunnels leading away for easy escape. Some palaces have even been built completely under the ground. There is also an underground runway, built in the late 80s. In 1998, when American planes began to bomb some of Saddam's palaces, Saddam invited the Iraqi people to sleep inside. Thousands of loyal citizens took him up on his offer and turned Iraq into a giant sleepover party. He invited the international press to witness this show of devotion, and when the world saw what was happening, the bombs stopped falling on Saddam's human shields.
President, this way.
In each dwelling, Saddam demands something unique and spectacular, like this giant eagle. every inch is sculpted by hand, involving hundreds of laborers and craftsmen. Saddam's particular decorating fetish is lacy walls and ceilings, inspired by the style of the ancient Abbasid palace, which he has recently renovated.
The president liked the traditional buildings that related or somehow mixed with the modern architecture. He always insists that we cannot build a building without putting inside the building, in the spirit of the building, the history.
Saddam never sleeps more than 2 consecutive nights in each home because of security concerns. Saddam has built more than 21 palaces, a feat of fevered imagination straight out of the Arabian Nights.
This is a presidency headquarters. You see, always there's water. We believe in water, you know.
His most exclusive residences are built along the Tigris River. All the members of his family have at least one palace there. Inside these compounds, several private casinos provide entertainment to the Husseins and their supporters.
Here we have some sketches for casino on Tigris River.
His oldest son, Uday, has a palace complete with lions and tigers in cages. In early 2000, Saddam was just putting the finishing touches on an architectural extravaganza 3 times larger than the White House. Some of these touches include a monumental pond in which it is rumored he hopes to fill with dolphins.
Welcome to Saddam Hospital for Children.
Every year on his birthday, Saddam likes to plan something magical and unforgettable. In 1998, for his 61st birthday, he created his own artificial lake, and on its shore, he constructed a resort town, and then brought in people by buses and trains to view it. They were amazed to discover a city of gold dome pyramids linked by beige and pink marble arches. The town is surrounded by chalets built for Saddam's closest supporters. Since the average salary for most Iraqis is $3 a month, most of them cannot afford to travel to his remote lake resort. They must make do with the new statue of himself that he erects every year on his birthday in a different lucky neighborhood. They can also visit this museum, where he keeps and displays all of his birthday gifts. Saddam likes to collect gold, especially when it can be combined with a nice self-portrait. For his 52nd birthday, Saddam asked people to donate their own gold to support the Iran-Iraq war effort. 5 years later on his birthday, Saddam showed up in a solid gold carriage. Saddam is also a very serious collector of guns. Besides his well-known collection of weapons of mass destruction, he also has a large number of rifles and pistols. He enjoys shooting them during public events.
He was very quiet and very just. He tended to protect people.
By all accounts, Saddam is a charming and gregarious individual. He likes to tell jokes and is supposedly good with children. Even if the apple he is generously offering them here is a bit rotten, it's the thought that counts.
Sometimes he may comment on even love poems.
Saddam can also have a sense of humor about his cult of personality. One of his favorite jokes is, "If your TV is broken, just put my poster on it."
He understands very quickly. He understands you before you finish your sentences.
هو عقلية علمية. He has a sixth sense for danger and can sniff out any conspiracy.
And Saddam knows how to prevent conspiracies.
People feared, were afraid of him. But also, he had a charisma. Saddam knew by instinct people. He knew how to make them not only fear him, but respect him.
We have enough freedom to talk about our problems and our mistakes here and there. But to criticize His Excellency's policy, this is another question.
Hello everybody, welcome to Saddam Art Center. Come on with me.
With no criticism and no official opposition, Saddam has completely remade Iraq in his image, making the two of them synonymous.
Mona Lisa, Mona Lisa, Mona Lisa, Mona Lisa, Mona Lisa.
We are going to meet the director of Saddam Art Center.
Mona Lisa, Mona Lisa.
Come on.
Hello. How do you do?
This portrait of Saddam Hussein is very dear to me. He is protected by Almighty God. For God said, "This is your nation, one nation, and I am your highest God, so worship me." You know, President Saddam is here to fulfill a prophecy. My painting is realistic art. This art center means civilization. It means art, and it means humanity. After all, for the last 10 years, no artistic development of any note has taken place in either America or in Britain.
Perhaps Saddam's need for this intense level of worship is revenge for his love-starved childhood. A fuck you to a pitiless world.
The heaven declare the glory of God. Yeah, yeah. The firmament showeth his handiwork. Can't you see? How could I not praise the Father? No way. How could I not give thanks to his name?
شكلهم كلهم بنحبه. أي ما تحبون؟ صدام حسين. ادعوا له شكون ايش بيكم؟ صدام حسين.
No, we don't call him Saddam.
How do you call him? Is it true you call him Uncle Saddam?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes. Our father Saddam. Father.
Father Saddam?
Big father and the big teacher
And Uncle Saddam also?
And after that, we clap to him.
Children perform songs at school about the greatness of his legacy or watch video clips on Iraqi TV celebrating him. They can also be performed just for fun at home. Uncle Saddam also enjoys prayers dedicated to his glory. More than the father of the nation, Saddam has become a sort of living God on earth. Saddam's religious devotion seems to be at its most fervent when cameras are present.
He believes in himself only. He wants to be like a god to Iraqi people, and he wants to be worshipped by Iraqi people.
Saddam, the child of humble parents, declared himself in the late 80s a direct descendant of the Prophet Muhammad and placed his new, revised family tree inside several mosques. Anyone who dares question it is put to death.
You see, after the invasion of Kuwait, Saddam added more titles to his name, such as the servant of God, the believer, the leader of all Muslims.
On Monday, October 22, 1990, Saddam declared publicly that the Prophet Muhammad had visited him in his sleep. He said the Prophet advised him on where to point his missiles. Saddam Hussein, previously one of the more secular leaders of the Arab world, has begun to build, despite the embargo, the biggest mosque in the world. It is taking shape in a former airport near Baghdad with the aid of a French architect, Jacques Barrière. It will have 4 minarets and be taller than the Eiffel Tower, higher even than the mosque in Mecca, which no Muslim has yet dared to do. Saddam believes that this will make him the closest human being on earth to God. Part of the Tigris River will be diverted, flooding a surface larger than 70 football fields. An island will be constructed in the shape of Saddam's thumb, and its surface will be a mosaic of his actual thumbprint. The Tower of Babel also symbolizes the extreme lengths in which men go in their attempt to reach God.
I believe this place is Tower of Babylon.
And when the actual ruins of the tower itself sit in your own private country, why not build a new, improved version?
This tower, what I tell her, in the next installation, I make something very interesting and double high, 160 meters.
He is a great builder, at least.
Unlike Nebuchadnezzar, the creator of Babylon, Saddam has engraved one of every 100 bricks with his name, in effect claiming the paternity of even Iraq's architecture.
At the time, President Saddam Hussein, President of Iraq, protector of Iraq, he rebuilt this building in 1989.
The holy leader doesn't just want to be worshipped by his own people. He wants tourists, 1,000 years in the future, to gaze in awe at his spectacular monuments and wonder about its legendary creator. With Saddam's indelible signature engraved in many of them, there will be no doubt as to the creator's name.
In the future, and by the will of God, people will visit and witness this eternal cutting-edge architecture.
What will future generations make of this one?
We are working now for the stadiums for the Olympic Committee, and here proposal for the Olympic Committee building.
أنا سمعت من قيل لي إنه بعض القائلين يقولون بأنه لو ركزنا على الخبز أكثر مما نركز على البناء، على بناء مدينة أو بناء جامعة أو بناء سير أو بناء معمل. جوابي على هذا أنه لو نكتفي بالخبز لوفرنا الخبز أكثر مما نحتاج. لو نكتفي بالأكل ونتحول إلى دود أو إلى دواجن.
Yes, there is little medicine and little food.
أساس تفكيرنا هو أنه لا ننطلق من الأكل لنعمل.
العراق كلها راح الدمر. ليش يصورنا؟ شنو حالتنا؟ شنو وضعنا؟ هضمنا؟
يعني بنينا هاي أنظر من قدراتنا يجوز في يوم ما نبدي ب10 مرة واحدة ونقول للمواطن تفضل اسكن.
The tourists who flock to gaze at the splendor of the pharaohs may hint of what lies ahead in Iraq's future. If the tourists who visit Saddam's ruins also stop to ponder the legacy of his family's dynasty, which once ruled this fabled land, the rewards will be even greater. Saddam's initial steps upon taking office in 1978 were worthy of a sultan. First, he had the mayor of Baghdad executed, and then replaced him with his favorite uncle, Kerala. He then appointed Kerala's son, Adnan, his first cousin and best friend, as the Minister of Defense. Saddam married Adnan's sister, Sajida, in 1955, a deal arranged by his mother, who obviously liked to keep it in the family.
She's my friend, and like a sister, our relationship is very strong.
She's a clever woman. From people who knew her, she was someone who was listened to and respected.
She wears simple dress, however, she's very elegant.
With her dyed blonde hair, flashy dresses, and heavy makeup, the First Lady of Iraq was a figure ripe for parody. Saddam's mother, threatened by her brother Kerala's growing power, asked Saddam to give jobs to her other 3 sons. He soon found a way for his half-brothers to serve their country.
Barzan Tikriti was head of the security service during the 80s. He is responsible for many assassinations inside and outside Iraq.
They established a unit of interrogation, and they gave this bunch of people the right to eliminate 30% of those who are arrested.
Barzan's hard work was rewarded when he took Sajida's sister, Ilham, as his wife. Saddam's other brother, Watban, was appointed the Minister of the Interior. Under his authority, the ministry was so corrupt that even Saddam joked about it.
اكو واحد يبيع ملابس فطلع هو قال له خيي إذا جوك الفرق مال وزارة الداخلية قالوا لك بيش هذا النفنوف شوف له مكتوب عليه 500 قول لهم ب10 دنانير وإذا قالوا لك غالي قول لهم بلاش.
His youngest brother, Sabawi, was promoted to the head of security, and together with Watban, they worked to keep Iraq free of His Excellency's enemies and undesirable elements.
He has a half-sister who comes sometimes to Jordan.
Saddam's half-sister also wanted her piece of the cake. So her husband, Arshad Yassin, became Saddam's bodyguard and private helicopter pilot. Arshad also has a keen interest in Iraq's national treasures.
The first name who come to my mind about smuggling Iraqi antiques would be Arshad Yassin, Saddam's brother-in-law. He is well known to have arranged so many of these antiques to be smuggled, and he make a fortune out of them.
Arshad's booty finds its way into antique shops all over Europe and the Middle East.
It's coming from Iraq, all this. And we have here many things from Iraq. And the owner of the shop is Iraqi. Yes.
This could be a museum, no?
Museum? This is, yes, you put it in the museum. This is 4,000 years ago. This is a real antique, but I'm sorry, it's prohibited. No, hablo español, ¿no? No podemos poner las cosas aquí porque es prohibido te enseñar, te vender esas cosas aquí. Es que la ley nos prohibió.
Saddam's paternal cousins were even more rewarded by their relationship to the president. Ali Hassan al-Majid, a former taxi driver, became governor of northern Iraq. To make up for his lack of formal education, he rules with an iron fist.
When the name Ali Hassan al-Majid is mentioned, it's always associated with crime and violation of the most basic human rights.
In the name of God, I swear by God Almighty and by my honor and conviction that I will maintain the Republican system, and I will work diligently and faithfully to protect the dignity of the people.
He became known by the nickname Chemical Ali after using chemical weapons in 1988 against the Kurds in northern Iraq. Chemical Ali's nephews, Hussein Kamal and Saddam Kamal, married two of Saddam's daughters, Ragdad and Rana. Hussein Kamal was put in charge of Saddam's chemical weapons acquisition program and roamed the world looking for bargains in death. His wife, Ragdad, also loved to shop and would often accompany him on his buying junkets, checking out the latest fashions while hubby haggled over poisons. His brother, Saddam Kamal, who married the boss's daughter Rana, became one of Saddam's private bodyguards. Saddam's other cousins, from his childhood village of Tikrit, were rewarded with the most fertile land, which Saddam privatized in the 1970s.
Many of the family became so rich. They bought all these government establishments, costed billions of dollars in very low price, and because of their power, nobody was able to compete with them. My birthplace is Tikrit.
Most of Saddam's relatives from Tikrit have also been given executive positions in the government. In Iraq, your family name is your place of birth. Saddam abolished the custom of attaching your birthplace to your last name after the capital became so filled with Tikritis that it became impossible to know who was who, especially in a country where almost every man sports a mustache.
There is a lot of people from the government who are from Tikrit.
Yes, this is truth.
We are governed by shepherds from Tikrit.
وأن يكون شعبنا نموذج للإنسانية مثل ما هو حاصل فعلا ويسجل المعاني الأعلى والأعلى مع مضي الزمن إن شاء الله. أشكرك.
Today, Aunt Hussein, the son of the president, my favorite friend, he's also an engineer today. We work together for some projects. He's very nice boy, nice guy.
Today is number one in black market in Iraq. He is grabbing by his fist all the business of smuggling, especially the oil and the cigarette and the whiskey and many kind of business. This prophet kept outside Iraq in different names, not in his name. When I was working with Uday, there is an account in my name in Dubai. They have many offices in France, in Jordan, in Lebanon, even in Chile, in what they call the front companies. There is a commercial business between Uday and Serbia, producing different kinds of arms. And you know, I have seen some people came from France and met Saddam Hussein secretly, and they came to visit Uday. And I know there is some political parties in France get some support from the Iraqi government, money support.
In 1995, we met with His Excellency Mr. Uday. He is a chief of journalists in Iraq.
Uday has his empire of propaganda, which includes 4 newspapers and 3 magazines and radio and TV. Nobody allowed to speak or to write without the instructions of Uday, which he gets directly from his father. Sometimes when I write some articles and Uday didn't like them, he put me in jail and sent one of his bodyguards to pull out one of my teeth and flog me with electric cable.
He's a very sport guy. When we go to sport together, I'll be happy.
Uday loves sports so much that he often jails the entire Iraqi soccer team when they lose a game.
I have seen him killing.
He used to hunt very well. Very, very well. Better than me.
Many times I saw him taking girls and rape them, but nobody can say no to him.
Not even Saddam. After all, Uday is very much his father's son.
مرحبا.
المرأة مثل شيء رقيق وثمين.
Saddam Hussein fell in love with another woman that he married, Samira Shahbandar. There are talk of a third marriage, so Sajida is in a way now a wife by name.
I'm a woman in love. In love.
After discovering the depth of her husband's deception, Sajida changed. Out went the flashy dresses and garish makeup, and on went the veil. Madame Hussein is widely viewed as a figure of embarrassment. The mere mention of her role in Iraq can bring a hush to a room.
What's the role of Sajida?
What do you mean?
What's the role of Iraq's First Lady?
She's a wife, a mother to her children. She's a housewife, and she's a citizen.
Sajida stood by her man until he stood by his mistress and produced a son. She went to Uday for advice. Not wanting a half-brother claiming Iraq's throne, Uday and Sajida plotted revenge. Uday swung by during a party with a machine gun and opened fire on the best friend of Saddam's mistress.
He killed him because he accused him of being the one who introduced Samira Shahbandar to his father, and so that he married her, and which affected, of course, his mother.
Saddam sent Uday to jail and prepared to sentence his son to death.
His wife, Sajida, came to King Hussein to ask him to talk to Saddam Hussein to save her own son. Saddam Hussein would not listen easily to anyone interfering for anybody that he would think deserved death or prison. It was even said that the mere fact that somebody would intervene for someone who is arrested in Iraq, this could speed up his death.
Rather than be killed by his own father, Uday attempted suicide. The king's words seemed to help, and Uday was spared.
Was Saddam Hussein really going to execute his son? Nobody knows, but he had thrown him in prison, and it was serious enough for his wife to come to King Hussein and to ask him for his help.
Adnan, Sajida's brother, was reportedly furious with the president for taking a mistress so publicly and turned against him. A hero in the Iran-Iraq war, there was even a statue of Adnan in Baghdad. Saddam was threatened. In May 1989, Saddam invited Adnan for lunch in the north. Mysteriously, Saddam's helicopter with Adnan aboard crashed on the return trip. Saddam's favorite uncle, Karala, the father of Adnan, claimed during his son's funeral that Saddam was responsible. Saddam responded by charging Kairala with corruption and placing him under house arrest. In a move of stunning duplicity, Saddam ordered a beautiful palace built in Adnan's memory and filled it with pictures of the two of them together. The death of Adnan cleared the way for Uday to become the new defense minister. But Saddam's son-in-law, Hussein Kamal, beat him to it. Hussein Kamal was now perfectly poised to challenge Uday to be the next in line. His claim was further strengthened by the fact that he was the father of Saddam's eldest grandson, Ali. Uday also had to deal with the growing power of Saddam's half-brother, Barzan.
Uday doesn't like Barzan, and he never liked him. And Uday thinks that Barzan represent a danger to his father. He thought Barzan is the only one who can replace his father, so he hates him.
When Saddam's mother died in 1982, the influence of her three sons was weakened. Barzan was effectively exiled in 1990 to Geneva as the UN ambassador. Iraqis in exile didn't exactly open their arms to their new representative.
Raus, dictator! Raus, dictator! Raus, dictator! Raus, dictator!
The press dubbed him the Prince of Terror.
When he was in Geneva, he was in control of the monies and the businesses.
They used to send a lot of cash to Geneva to be put in Swiss banks under secret names.
Meanwhile, in July 1993, Saddam arranged for Uday to marry Barzan's daughter, Saja. The union was a catastrophe. After 10 days, Saja left him and flew to Geneva without even divorcing. In August 1998, Barzan was recalled to Baghdad, but he dared to defy Saddam by choosing to stay in Geneva with his wife Ilham, who was fighting cancer. He was immediately fired. Ilham died in 1999. No family attended the funeral, not even her sister, Saddam's wife, Sajida. After turning his back on Iraq, the Swiss did the same by refusing to extend Barzan's visa. He was forced to return to Baghdad and the president's wrath.
I am on my way to Baghdad. My work in Switzerland is over. It ended in special circumstances. An unfortunately tragic end.
Barzan was unafraid because Saddam had promised he would not be punished and apparently even agreed to make him prime minister.
Western media started to fabricate rumors. They started to speak about family rifts with the president, and if I go to Baghdad, I will be sentenced to death.
Upon arriving in Iraq, no prime minister's office was waiting for him, just house arrest.
He knows a lot about the secret accounts, and maybe this is one of the things which kept him alive till now, despite the conflict within the family.
Saddam had also fired his youngest brother Sabawi for conducting his duties half asleep. Undaunted, Sabawi went on to make a fortune during the invasion of Kuwait.
During the Iraqi invasion of Kuwait, there was many Iraqi groups that were focused on robbing and stealing and transferring property, transferring gold, and the brother of Saddam, Sabawi, was in Kuwait, so they oversaw that operation.
Saddam's other brother, Watban, was dismissed from his duties in May 1995 with a bullet from Uday.
He shot his uncle Watban with 10 bullets. 3 enter his body and 1 enter this area, and he is a cripple now.
And Iraqi TV showed Watban in the hospital, claiming that he was shot incidentally.
Hussein Kamal, Saddam's son-in-law, locked in a power struggle with Uday, feared that he would be next. 2 days after Watban's shooting, he fled Iraq for Jordan. He fled Baghdad with his entire family, which included his wife, Saddam's daughter, his brother and his wife, another of Saddam's daughters, and all the grandchildren. The King of Jordan afforded them protection.
When Hussein Kamel arrived to Jordan in August of 1995, I spoke with him several times in his palace that King Hussein had put at his disposal. 2 days later, he did a press conference and he called for the end of the regime of Saddam Hussein.
We are now working to topple the regime. As for other issues, I will reveal it if it is in the country's best interest.
He had an idea of preparing an opposition army at the borders of Iraq. He was hoping for an American backing. Neither the US nor Jordan believed in this idea or accepted it. So he had nothing much to do. Saddam's daughter, Ragad and Rana, would often call their mother. They would cry on the phone. They were scared to death. In the meantime, Hussein Kamel was starting to get bored. He was considered as an excess luggage in Jordan. Nobody even really wanted him around anymore. In February, he gave me a very astonishing statement. He was praising Saddam Hussein suddenly. He had sent a letter to Saddam Hussein asking him forgiveness and asking for his return to Baghdad. When finally, on the 20th of February, he got a document carrying an amnesty from Saddam Hussein, he believed it. And Uday gave his word of honor that no harm will happen to Hussein Kamel, to his brother Saddam, and to his brother Hakim. Hussein Kamel announced to his wife that they're going back to Baghdad immediately. The two girls started crying. They were scared. One of his brothers, Hakim, the youngest one, was ill and he was in bed. It was a bad flu. So he told him, I'm sick, maybe I should stay behind. The other brother was also not keen to go. But Hussein Kamel took his gun, put it on their head, and said, you are going to come with me or you will die now and here. On the way, one of the brothers took an excuse of needing a cup of tea and tried to flee, but Hussein Kamel stopped him and forced him again inside the car. Once they reached the Iraqi border, people could see that the two daughters of Saddam and their children were taken by helicopter.
Ragdad, Rana, and the children were transferred to one of Saddam's palaces in the north of Baghdad, placed under house arrest, and apparently walled in.
Hussein Kamel, his brothers, and their sister and the children returned by car to Baghdad.
The Kamal siblings were moved to the house of a widowed aunt in Baghdad.
Members of the security forces and police came and surrounded the house, started shooting rockets sent at the house.
Their uncle, Chemical Ali, supervised the attack from outside, all the while updating Saddam on his cell phone.
Hussein Kamel and his brothers had weapons while the Iraqi group was shooting at them. And then people who gathered in the street, even the police was calling by loudspeaker to witness the fate of traitors. After this exchange of shooting and rockets, the house crumbled. Some of the security people entered the house, took out bodies. The body of the sister was seen, and together with bodies of her children. Hussein Kamel was seen going out of the house with a gun in one hand and a machine gun in the other, barefoot. He had blood coming out of his head. He started shooting for a few seconds, but there was such fire at him that he immediately fell down. Ali Hassan Majid came close and started firing again at him while he was already dead. The bodies were thrown in the van and they disappeared. Nobody knew where they were buried.
Saddam was pleased with Chemical Ali's work, and Ali, not one to miss an opportunity, offered his daughter's hand to Uday. Saddam reciprocated by giving his youngest daughter Hala to Jalal Mustafa, a cousin of Chemical Ali's. And as the story goes, she lost her smile. Saddam's eldest daughters, Ragdad and Rana, are still widows and have never forgiven their father for killing their husbands. Sajida rarely appears in public now, and when she does, her movements are closely monitored. Most of Saddam's sister-in-laws live with their husbands under house arrest. These are the lucky ones. The rest are widows. Even the visit of the glamorous Queen Noor couldn't raise a smile. With so many rivals out of the way, Uday was confident he would be the next ruler of Iraq. Destiny decided otherwise. His sisters Ragdan and Rana were overjoyed and organized a small party to celebrate while their parents rushed to the hospital. Uday would survive, but with severe handicaps.
People inside Iraq believe that Watban was behind, or maybe Hussein Kamel group were behind the shooting of Uday, because the inner circle must have known about his movement. They could have killed him easily, but they chose just to shoot him in the leg as he did with his uncle Watban.
With Uday temporarily debilitated, Saddam's attention turned to his youngest son, Qusay, as the repository of his dynastic ambition.
Qusay seems better than Uday because he did whatever he wanted secretly, not publicly. But in fact, he is cruel like his father and the brother, and he is a criminal. A lot of people was killed by his hand.
Qusay is the one who's responsible to put the regulation of hunting in Iraq. He is the best one in all over the country in hunting.
Qusay is a man of shadow. He's a man of the military, of the secret services.
Qusay was put in charge of protecting Saddam's complex military structure and supervising Saddam's inner circle, along with Mahmoud, Saddam's personal assistant.
No, there is no flexibility at all.
Mahmoud is Saddam's guardian angel. Nobody sees Saddam without seeing Mahmoud first. Saddam's ever-present entourage includes 15 bodyguards and 20 others looking after him wherever he is. They are all related to him. These units, headed by Qusay, are called the Special Security Organization. They are the only people in Iraq allowed to approach Saddam alone. When Saddam moves, 5 private security units, numbering 1,000 soldiers each, move in opposite directions. Nobody knows in which unit Saddam is in, so as to confuse his enemies. There is also a commando unit of 5,000 additional soldiers, called the Emergency Unit, ready to crush any opposition with super-fast tanks and high-tech helicopters. Still, another unit of 5,000 soldiers guards Saddam's palaces. These 3 units, supervised by Qusay, are called the Special Republican Guard. Another military force, the Republican Guard, is composed of 40,000 soldiers. Their role is to protect Saddam's family and the regime. The Iraqi army is located throughout Iraq to prevent any popular uprising against the regime. The suicidal militia, composed of young Iraqis, was formed by Saddam's eldest son, Uday. As if that's not enough protection, Saddam also employs doubles. He likes to joke about them.
الساعة الشبه ما صدام دربناه ما قدر يعبر إلا مرة واحدة ما عبالنا نقدر ندربه بعد بالشبيه يقولون الأمريكان ديك المرة ما عبرنا يقولون هذا الشبيه ما صدام بس هالساعة الشبيه ما يقدر يعبر 3 مرات يقدر يعبر نوبة واحدة يجوز.
Saddam's security forces have become some of the best in the world. Each unit is independent, so that if one decides to attack Saddam, the other units can respond, keeping rebellion contained. Because the West has tried and failed to kill Saddam so many times in the past, he seems cavalier about the prospect.
المهم إنه إحنا نريد من بينكم ناس يعدون انقلاب عسكري أن يشترك وياهم حتى نريحهم للغرب لأنه يوميا يحكون عن انقلاب عسكري متوقع.
In reality, Iraqi money is used to buy weapons and to buy people.
Through the embargo, all these scarce money channeled to strengthen the security system, his own security system.
With his grip on the black market as firm as ever, and Uday fully recovered, Saddam Hussein, the 7th richest man in the world of royalty and dictators, according to Forbes magazine, can certainly afford to stay in power.
طاقات الإنسان تبدأ دون أن تكون لها حدود إلا بانتهائه بوفاته. اللي دائما ينطوي على فكرة جديدة وصيغة جديدة وهدف جديد وإبداعات في ميدان كل حاجة.
For you, children, it's time, children, it's time for you. We love you and care. You deserve the love and the warmth that you need and wanted so much. It's time for you to take and share the love that you've missed, and now you have, it's time for you.